There's one thing I really, really love doing, and that is talking about the optimism in current new Star Trek. Hello, everyone. I am Mecha Random 42, the one, the only, the original, your favorite YouTube harpy. And yes, you can see I'm spitting the smile in this one. I'm very much happy to dissect this. You know, same way they were happy to show full on that in Star Trek, right? The same hopeful, optimistic view of the future that makes me want to, I don't know, escape from the world of Discovery and Picard and not live in it. I'd rather live in the real world right now. I have it way better than this hopeful, optimistic future that I used to want to escape to for about an hour a week. I used to admire and love these characters. I used to look up to them, but now you have characters like Seven of Nine who, frankly, is a murderer and killed Icheb in cold blood, as well as 27,000 other people. And, you know, I'm not going to call out the people who like it. I'm just going to focus on what is being said and how these are being marketed. And we were told that these shows were hopeful and optimistic. We just weren't seeing it, even though somebody like me spends hours taking notes. At least I did early on when I was actually really, really trying to help fix this, trying to figure out what critique I could give that they would actually pay attention to, instead of just giving a bunch of lip service and saying, oh, no, it is hopeful. Oh, yeah, we're going to go into the future now and not go into the past. Oh, no, don't worry about the canon. It won't matter anymore. All right? And I've had plenty of complaints on canon. I've had plenty of complaints on the different spirit of the show. And the fact that now they have to announce this new Star Trek show as to be, here we go, optimistic and more episodic. So they flat out admit, we're trying to harken back to some classical Trek values to be optimistic and more episodic. Now, that is one of the biggest problems with current Trek, as I call it, murder Trek. There's a great meme that Red Letter Media made, and of course shout out to them, that really sums up everything wrong with at least Picard. Nobody has any consequences for anything. Nobody has any slight bit of morality, humanity, decency, not a bit of it. And okay, that's fine to make a show however you want to make a show. Just don't slap Star Trek across the side and extort Star Trek fans for their money when you're not giving us Star Trek. You're giving us a giant corporate asset flip that is a cash grab that is only designed to trick gullible Trek fans out of their money. And the fact that we have to have article after article, like this one here from, who is this one from? Variety, saying that yes, now it's going to finally be optimistic. Or was it optimistic all along? Like the New Yorker says here, the welcome optimism of Star Trek Picard. Oh, really? Really? Because I'm sorry. How is this optimistic? How is this optimistic in Picard? And the fact that we have now Akiva Goldsman, one of the producers, one of the 27 producers on the show, or is there 32? I lost count as to how many producers there were. Which is it? Was it optimistic all along? I could pull up countless Reddit posts, which I highly recommend reading. I don't know if they want me to show their entire work here, but I'm going to give you an idea of how a lot of the fan base feels. Here we go. Star Trek Discovery is optimism, but not for us. And this was from 2 years ago. Will we get optimism in Discovery or morally gray cynicism? Because that's what it feels like. It feels like this very preachy, without understanding what they're preaching, sort of mentality of show running. And that bleeds into the writing of the show. Not only that, like I said, this is kind of an asset flip. This is a cash grab. Patrick Stewart does not like the character Picard the way the fans like the character Picard. He did that for a paycheck. With this new series, now I gotta talk for a second about this. There's a new series here. It's going to be called Strange New Worlds, featuring all of these knuckleheads. Pike, number one, and Smiley Spock. Yeah, you know Spock. You know, the one with the beard.
I like science.
You know, Smiley Spock, the one we like to poke fun at.
I like science.
Yeah, well, this is back when he was singing I'm the Model of the Modern Major General and laughing and giggling hysterically with Rebecca Romaine. Because, let's face it, she's kind of giggity and she would make anybody giggly. So, this new series is going to be exploring this era of Star Trek that was before Kirk was on the Enterprise, which, alright, I never cared about this era. I am one of those people who firmly believe, I'm an old school Star Trek fan. I started watching in about 87 when we were looking for whales in space and it was fun and, the double dumbass, all the good stuff about Star Trek. That's the Star Trek that I really, really enjoy from, my time up until about 2000 or so. Even Enterprise had really good moments. I really enjoyed some parts of Enterprise because at least it felt like Star Trek. The issue I have is that all of this new modern Trek is made by people who only watched The Cage because that's the first episode that pops in on Netflix. And what do Trek fans know about The Cage? It was the unaired pilot that had Jeffrey Hunter as Captain Pike and Majel Barrett as number 1. Fine, that's great, but there's a reason why it was a non-picked up, unaired pilot. That nobody saw this until the convention circuit in the 80s. That's because The Cage was bad. It was not a good episode, and they needed something. They needed William Shatner. You needed that. Sure, Anson Mount is a great Captain Pike because the rest of Discovery is such garbage around him. Sure, spinning him off is a good business move because at least I can get behind the casting on this one. I cannot get behind anything else in this series though, because this just comes across like more garbage, more BS. It feels like more producers that are lying to you saying, yes, it's going to be optimistic. And then we get stuff like this.
Shut the fuck up.
Like Admiral Hubris. Or we get...
This is so fucking cool.
It is fucking cool.
So sorry.
You should be sorry, Tilly. We don't need this new sort of Star Trek when it's just Star Trek in name only. This is only for the few people who go to the conventions every single year, who are only there to collect autographs of Star Trek actors because they want to perpetuate their business model and their machine, and they want to keep Creation Entertainment selling tickets for $100 a pop for the leads of these shows, which is fine. If that's what you are into, that's great. But I don't see this as any more as an asset flip. This is the same type of thing we see in the video game companies, where they come in and they buy all these pre-made sort of things, like your 3D models, your renders. And that's what it really feels like here. You have this new production company come in and have this established thing that is Star Trek, right? They have a brand. They already have a universe. They don't have to do anything other than just make more of it. And yeah, they had to make some sets and all that stuff, and they did not have to redesign everything. They didn't have to come in and change it all. There's no reason for it. We had established canon. That's why I don't feel that this is even Star Trek in anything other than name only, because it's not even made by the same production companies. It's not made by the same people for the same reasons. This really feels like, to me, this is something so a lot of less talented people in Hollywood can go in using the J.J. Abrams business model of attach themselves to something existing, reboot it, and then keep creating new stuff. Let other people take the work for you. All of these really short-lived TV series or movies like Star Wars, which haven't been good in years, and you know it. George Lucas knows it too. I got a video coming on that. Check that one out. None of these properties has been good in a very, very long time, but they want to move on to the next thing before the whole franchise crumbles beneath them. It looks good on their resume. So you got people like Alex Kurtzman, Akiva Goldsman. But what happens, in my opinion, is they come in and they put their name on something and then they move on to the next. This is why Alex Kurtzman's already off to the Clarice show, and then he probably has 27 other things in development. Because that's what J.J. Abrams does as well with his Bad Robot company. And now you've got Secret Hideout, which is a lot of people from Bad Robot coming in behind the scenes and creating these shows because there's not a lot of work involved in it. You can sell that brand to a studio because people have heard of it before. It's not like going in with a completely original thing, and that's really the sad state of Hollywood. And I'm just disappointed. And you know what? I'm going to cover this, and I'll probably watch it to pick out what's wrong with it. What's wrong with it is you're going back to Captain Pike again. You're still trying to make The Cage relevant. I'm sorry, The Cage was unaired for a reason. It wasn't good enough for a series. That is why it is ridiculous to keep trying to either fix the canon of the cage, make it more explainable, I guess. Say, oh, well, see, Michael Burnham picked up a flower and smiled because Spock did in the cage. Well, yes, because the cage is the unaired pilot that wasn't good enough for a series. Stop going to the cage. I'm tired of it. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I am rambling in this video, and I am MechaRandom42. Also, do you want me to clip my first reaction to this series from my live stream on Friday? Let me know in the comment section. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!